Well, welcome to the last of 8 videos looking at the human resource frame. Woohoo! You did it. You got all the way to the end. Or maybe you cheated and just skipped ahead. But what we're going to do during this particular video is we're going to look at group dynamics. It's really the last concept covered in the book. And we're going to start off by looking at informal roles associated with group dynamics. And as the book discussed, there were kind of 4 different categories, if you will, all starting with C, it seems, that group members are broken down into. So you've got these kind of task-oriented structural frame contributors that are out there that want the group to develop a plan. You've got collaborators who like to see the big picture. They're more symbolic, and they help the group kind of clarify where they're going long term. You get the communicators, and they're going to be process-oriented human resource frame individuals who facilitate and help build consensus. And then finally, you get the challengers. They're going to ask the really tough questions coming out of the political frame and try to push the group to take risks and achieve higher standards. So very, very cool. Look at contributors, collaborators, communicators, and challengers. And hey, look at that. It aligns with the 4 frames, which is really the topic of this particular course. All right, let's take a little brief interlude. Here are some 3 cartoon examples of dysfunctional groups. So you've got the, starting on the left, you've got everybody saying that they're in favor verbally, but mentally they're all thinking the exact opposite. And then the other 2 kind of look at more negative aspects of group dynamics in terms of what people are doing sometimes. All right, let's look at some more positive examples than this, although this should have been a little bit of a brief interlude. And if you look at this, you start to look at teams with informal ties are likely to stay together more than teams without. So, you know, part of leadership is helping build these informal ties. So getting people together and sharing stories, and we'll get into more of this in the symbolic frame, having rituals. And the one example that I'd share from my military time is the, I was actually in the 82nd Airborne, and we were at that time experimenting with an American cohort system, which is very similar to the British regimental system, where you go to a unit and you actually stay with that unit for an extended period of time, and you rotate as a unit, you move as a unit, and try to build that type of cohesion. And what we found out of that is, 1, it's very effective, and 2, it's very expensive. It's very expensive to pick up 1,200 men and move them all at the same time to a completely different location. Some other things that came out of that, just as the slide suggests, the bonds between the team members were very, very tight. Everybody kind of knew how everybody worked. We had relationships. We could anticipate what others were going to do. And those kind of non-players, those folks who were disruptive, they were eliminated up front. Everybody knew we were going to be together for a long time, and the idea was build the right team, bring the right people on. And if someone was not the right person, then they were eliminated from the team because we were not going to deal with that for the next 4 or 5 years while we were together as a cohort unit. And as luck would have it, this cohort experiment had me rotating from North Carolina to Italy, where we lived for 5 years and had a great time. All right, let's move forward now and look at the group dynamics from an interpersonal conflict perspective. And there are actually 3 approaches that are kind of listed here, 2 of which are kind of coupled with a Model 1 approach, and the others are more associated with a Model 2 approach. So you can pour oil on the troubled waters and try to minimize whatever conflict, deny it, smooth it over, bury it, in the hopes that it will go away. A second approach is the might makes right. You know, I can actually force this conflict to end. by using other sources of power, be it political, symbolic, structural, whatever. And then the other approach is talk about, well, when we got conflict, let's develop skills, agree on the basics and the assumptions, work together for common interest, experiment, doubt that you're correct all the time, and then treat differences as actually a group responsibility. So let's explore a little bit more. Came across this quote from Benjamin Franklin that talks about people being infallible, and great quote. I'll let you to read it there quickly, but just like this idea that sometimes the judgment and or wisdom comes not from talking but from listening. All right, let's move on and talk about, from the human resource frame and group dynamics, this idea of leadership. So what's leadership? Well, it's setting a compelling direction, providing a vision, if you will. Then building relationships that are necessary for that compelling vision to be realized. Scouting out the necessary information to make it happen, manage all of those relationships with external constituents, there we go, internal constituents, other affiliated parties, persuade people to support each other, not to demonize, make people into demons or angels, but to work together, resolve conflict as you're going together, and then empower those teams to achieve success. Well, guess what? That brings us to the end of the 8th video. This video has focused on group dynamics, and we've looked at leadership and interpersonal conflict and informal networks and groups, and also talked about the roles that people play when they're in a particular group. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Next video, actually, we'll start moving over into the political frame and exploring that. So look forward to seeing you there.